Hello, I'm Joel Hargis with the Florida Aviation Network here at Sun and Fun 2025. Sun and Fun, the second largest air show in the country, and boy, have we got some good weather this year. If you haven't been here yet, come on out. The Blue Angels are here this year, and I'm telling you what, it's just beautiful out here. It's been beautiful weather. But this morning, I am very anxious to introduce to everybody Barbara Walters Phillips. And I've known Barbara several years.
Yes.
Long time. And one of the things that that we kind of have in common is we're both a little passionate about teaching youth aviation.
Yes.
I do a remote series for the Florida Aviation Network on that, and I've been trying to get down to see Barbara's operation because she arguably has one of the best youth programs in the state, if not country, and we got held up with COVID, didn't we?
We did.
And so that stunk. But so Barbara, why don't you tell everybody where you do that at and a little bit of your syllabus curriculum?
Well, we meet at Orlando Executive Airport in a hangar, which is our EAA Chapter 74 clubhouse. And we meet on Saturday mornings from 9 until noon. And I have a team of volunteers who help me with the teaching. I've tried to pull everyone's experience and put together the curriculum. And so it, gets updated and changed as we go along. But we've been doing this. I was trying to figure that out. I think it's going on 20 years. Honestly.
That was going to be my next question. How long have you done that? I know it's been a long time.
Yes.
Super established and very well attended.
It is.
Like 50 kids or?
Well, we take 15 in the fall and then another 15 in the winter and 15 in the spring.
Okay, so that's 45. So I was pretty close.
You were very close, and a lot of our instructors, they're not regular teachers. I mean, my background is in education, so I was very comfortable with going to 20, and they were like, no, really. And with some of the building and all, 15 is really perfect. So we do that, and each week, we start out, of course, on the first week with an introduction to flight, teaching them parts of the plane. Yeah, the basics, what makes it
Bernoulli's
fly.
Principle.
Bernoulli's a big part of it. And after a couple hours, the first couple hours on that, we go out, and I like to say we borrow a plane. We go to one of the flight schools, and we borrow one that's not going to be used for the next hour or so. And one of our members is actually the Young Eagle chairman, is a flight instructor. So he will sit in the right seat, and after we've done the walk around and the pre-flight, we have them kind of line up there under the wing, and one by one they get to sit in the left seat. And for many of them, they've never been in a small plane.
Right.
So they have no idea other than what they've seen as we prepared those first couple hours. So they get to, see what it's like to put their hands on the yoke and talk about the instruments. Everybody gets to do that.
I'm going to stop you there for a minute because, we have a youth group at my local place, but I don't know that we fly a lot of Young Eagles.
Yes.
But normally that's a right seat experience.
It is, yes.
But to sit down, because anybody, when they first get in an airplane, that cockpit is overwhelming.
It is.
It's overwhelming. Once you have a couple lessons, you realize, oh, I got it. But man, that first, so to get over that initial shock is excellent. I love that.
Yeah, and we have them put their feet, of course, on the rudder pedals. Just get a feel for it, sitting there on the ground. And becoming familiar with it just, I think, adds a lot, to them before they actually will go fly later in the series. But then we walk back through the flight school and show them a Redbird flight simulator.
Yep.
And then we go back, and I have little balsa wood planes that we end the day with, and we do a little distance contest outside. Cool. So that's our week 1. Week 2 is weather. And I have some people who are great. I have one who is trained in meteorology who sometimes teaches that. And then I have another person who is also, and they're both Embry-Riddle graduates actually, but she had a minor in meteorology. So I'm really fortunate. I have one with a major and one with a minor.
Sounds like, and you know, meteorology, I mean, I didn't realize when I started becoming a pilot, I was going to become a weatherman. And then if you get an IFR rating, you're pretty much full on, meteorologist or to pass the test anyway. It's a lot of information and
it is
critical to know, right? That's what'll keep
really
you alive.
Yes. So we talk
about meteorology.
Yeah, they do. They learn all about the clouds and just why weather is so important to aviation. And it brings out a lot of things that I think they really hadn't thought about before. And then I like to have them get up and move a little. So we walk over on the ramp to the Orange County Sheriff's hangar.
Oh, cool.
And while we're there, we have a tour. And then they go in and they have a really nice video that shows about careers in the aviation division of law enforcement.
Oh, cool.
And then we get to go out into the hangar, and they have at least 3 helicopters in there.
They got a few.
Yeah, they have 5. But
wow, 5.
Yes, and you know, different types. And they get right up on the ramp and, you know, look in, and even sometimes they'll let them sit in there. But just ask questions about helicopters, and they're really good at explaining the difference, you know, some of the differences in flying
fixed wing,
the airplane, versus the helicopter. And we always have a couple who are really interested in helicopters. So that really makes it fun. And then we do our little group picture all sitting there in front of the helicopter. So I have a lot of those group pictures from over the years.
I bet.
Yeah. And then week 3 is a hands-on. And that is a building class. We have a model with a dihedral wing, and it's rubber band powered. And we have ceiling tiles that we prepared. We put tape around the edge to make that what they build on. So they pin the template onto that, and then they're gluing and they're cutting the balsa very gently. They've learned a lot about how
they build a little airplane.
They do, and it takes all morning, but right before noon when we finish, we take them out and we have a big grassy area where they fly them.
Cool.
So, and it's amazing. It's just so much fun. And so then week 4 is communication. Really, really an important week. Talking, they listen to, they aid us and try to sort out what they're hearing. There's a lot there, and then we let them actually practice working with that and trying to come back and explain what each part means. Which, again, if they've never heard it, it's when the first time is overwhelming.
Sounds like a different language.
Yes,
right?
It does. So they do that, and it's a good week. Then we walk over to the FBO and show them some things that they can get, you know, like the pilots could bring up and look at the information.
Right, the pilot prep room, sure.
Right. So we do that. That's our third one. The fourth one is, let's see, no, that was the fourth one. That was communication. The fifth one is another hands-on, and we have the room all set up. They're building wing ribs, and they're learning to rivet, 2 kinds of riveting.
Wow.
So we kind of do half of them will start building their wing rib while the other half starts to rivet, and then we switch.
Wow, that's cool. So you got a little A and P going on
we
there.
Do. We
wow.
do. Yeah, I think that's important, and we talk a lot about the home-built airplanes, and you need to know how to do this.
Yeah.
And then, again, I don't want to keep them doing too much, so they're finished in about 2 hours with that. So the third hour is a career presentation, and I have a friend who's a flight instructor, and she has recently gotten her ratings in seaplanes, gliders, and put together a really nice little presentation. So we share that with them. And from that, we actually have a couple of them who have gone on because they didn't realize that they could fly glider at 14. So we have them going out to not too far away to glider port, and I have one right now who's taking lessons there.
Cool.
Yeah, it's been very exciting. And then the gliders and the seaplanes, which there again they don't know a whole lot about that. So And then she answers all kind of questions for them about, learning to fly and so on. So that's a fun week. But I try to have a couple different parts to each week just to keep it exciting.
Keep their attention.
Yes, you have to do that. And then on week 6, we actually go to the control tower.
Oh, that's fun.
Yes.
They're at ORL. So
at ORL.
That's a busy one.
It is. And we have the airport director come, and she will talk in the conference room to half of the group while we send the other half upstairs to the cab. And she gives them information on the airport, like the history of when it was a military base. I really like them. I think it's important that they know that.
Yeah.
So, we spend time on that.
The history, and speaking of history of aviation in Central Florida, your husband knows more about that than any 5 people I've ever met put together. I bring him out to speak once in a while because he just knows it.
Well, and he loves that. He's done a lot of research. He enjoys doing it. He really does. And then we have, and as a matter of fact, if our airport director is not available, I do bring him in to help talk that day a little bit about the airports, so he doesn't get off the hook. And then week 7 is flight planning, and we give them all I actually use a TAC chart, the Orlando Tampa TAC chart, and we plan out a trip, and to 3 legs, and the first one is from Orlando to Leesburg.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and then from Leesburg to Kissimmee, and Kissimmee back in, and that means we have to talk to them about the airspace.
That's a nice little cross country.
It really is, yeah.
Oh, lots of airspace.
Yes. So we spend a lot of time on that and discussing the airspace, and I feel like they really learn a lot.
Sounds like it.
Yes, and then when it was possible, we would actually have pilots volunteer to come, and I would try to have 5 airplanes, 5 pilots, and they would each, on week 8, their graduation flight, they got to fly the trip.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And so, like I say, you've been doing this so long, and gosh, how many kids have been through your program? Any idea?
Oh, well, no, not really. But we've had the Orlando Youth Aviation Center, for a long time, and anywhere from like 45. Sometimes I do go a little over, so I'd say 45 to 50 kids per year. And then we do lots of, I have a lot of members who will go and talk to school groups or career fairs, whatever. So we really try to get them out there.
So that was my next question is, I know in our youth group and even in Flying Young Eagles at our local airport there in Leesburg, one of the challenges is getting kids to show up, how to recruit them.
Right.
I mean,
well,
do you have trouble with that? We have trouble with that.
No, actually, I'm amazed, but I'm taking registrations for next winter right now because I already have 15 in the fall.
Well, so 15.
Yeah, with doing 15, that works really well. But I find most of it is word of mouth. The kids who go through it tell their friends, and I start getting phone calls and emails, oh, I heard this, and could I sign up?
And it is free of charge.
No, we do charge just a $50 fee to cover the cost of materials. Just the materials, but we are all, of course, volunteers.
Right.
We're all volunteers. And we, like when we do have when our EAA chapter has a Young Eagle event, of course, we talk to them about the Orlando Youth Aviation Center and that we have the classes. So that we do pick up some of them when we are at Young Eagle rallies.
And so you're EAA chapter 74?
74.
That's a young one, folks. I mean, it's the numbers go on as you get in, and 74 is a very low number. Yeah. And you guys fly a bunch of Young Eagles a year out of that.
We do. We have over the years. Right now we're at kind of a challenging time because we have a control tower too, but ORL seems to be really, really busy, and so some of our pilots really prefer to fly out of other airports that are uncontrolled in particular, but where it's not quite so busy.
Right.
So sometimes it's a bit challenging to get.
I could see where it would
5
be.
at a time. Yeah, you understand that.
ORL is, in a presentation, most challenging airports, it is. The airspace is low. I mean, it's full. It's a booger.
Yeah. But we love doing it. All my volunteers and the pilots are very supportive. You know, they come and donate all their time and
let me back up here just a minute, because some people may not know what Young Eagles are.
Oh, true.
So Young Eagles is an EAA sponsored event. They give us extra insurance and things where kids from 8 to 17 can get a free airplane ride.
Right.
And that's done via volunteers on the ground and pilots with airplanes that volunteer their time and their fuel to do that. And, it's...
Yeah.
Fortunately, there are many pilots that are willing to give back and spend their money to help kids that would never ever get the chance to do that.
And they're just so dedicated about doing it.
Oh,
the pilots are wonderful. You can see the smile on their face is almost as big as the one on the kids' faces.
Absolutely.
But yes, we've been doing Young Eagles for a long time. It's just a fabulous program. And so many of them, once they come, first of all, their first ride is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And then when they love it, they're the ones who come, saying, what else can I do? And then we also tell them, hey, go on the website and look, because we have chapters all around.
Right.
Like your chapter, Umatilla, for example, in our area, DeLand, all that fly Young Eagles. So we have ones who literally go from one airport to another.
Good deal.
And they get to know our pilots.
Leesburg.
Yeah, we will.
The other thing, they get a logbook that has a free Sporty's ground course and all of that. But because we're getting close on time, I know we want to talk about Girls in Aviation Day, which I know you just did.
Yes.
And anytime I can promote girls or women in aviation, I do, because I think they're underrepresented and I think it's a shame. So talk to us.
Well, thank you. I have been on the planning committee for Women in Aviation International since we started the Girls' Day. It used to be take your daughter to the conference. And that's how it started. And then it got to be, wow, well, lots of other people are coming. They're not just the members' daughters. And so we changed it and it became Girls in Aviation Day. I know our first one, it must be like 10 years, was like in Dallas. And it started really small. I can remember sitting in my room the night before with all the name tags lined up. And now it is huge. I mean, the staff handles the name tags. But being on the volunteer committee, we meet on a Friday morning by Zoom. And so we're from all over. We're from all over, but we meet, and it's when we start, it's like every other Friday. As we get closer, we meet every Friday morning. And everybody has their parts. It's the most wonderful committee, because we each, like my area is contacting the local school district because it moves every year. Last week we were in Denver.
Oh, wow.
So I had to talk to people with the Denver school system, and one person will help you out by telling you about another, different districts. And that's how we start, by contacting them. We have a really nice little flyer that we can email now. It used to be posters, and we would have to deliver them to the schools. See how long we've been doing this? and so, last year it was in Orlando.
I think I remember that.
Yes, it was in Orlando. Next year it will be in Dallas.
Okay.
Yes. So it moves each year, and then we're constantly contacting that area, trying to get the word out ahead of time so the girls know about it, can get it on their calendar. And they come out.
Where can they look for that? Real quick.
On the Women in Aviation, the WAI.org website.
WAI.org.
It's Women Aviation International. That's why it's WAI.org. And then you just look for Girls in Aviation Day, which is often abbreviated GIAD. But Girls in Aviation Day. And it will tell you even now where it is next year, the date, and so on.
All right.
So that it is amazing, and it's huge. If you can imagine those huge conference centers, and we have gigantic ballrooms, that are all opened up, and activities. We have a career panel, and then there's a college fair. And this year, they have their own guest speaker with lunch. And this year it was Jessica Cox. I don't know if you know Jessica.
I don't.
She does not have arms. She flies with her feet. I've heard Jessica over the years, and she was incredible last week. just incredible. And she emphasized to them the importance. Her whole message was, yes, I can.
I think she's been here in our studio.
I think so.
Before.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, we're out of time. I could sit and talk to you. I've got a lot of Young Eagle story. I could talk to you for another half an hour, easy.
Yeah.
But we do not have that airtime. So, Barbara, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
And sharing that. I encourage you to, you can find her through EAA 74 and kind of understand her curriculum and syllabus in detail.
Yes,
Be happy
it's all
to
there.
share that with you. Teaching youth aviation, you can't go wrong with that. I am Joel Hargis with the Florida Aviation Network here at Sun and Fun 2025. Come out and see us.